What's up, everybody? Good morning. I got a little adjustments to make there. We good? Cool. All right. Welcome back to another week of trading here at Policing Pips. We are going to open right at VWAP in between my range here, so it's going to be a holding pattern right now. The 610 level that I've been talking about over and over again is now pretty much VWAP, so we'll watch VWAP as this market opens. I do like 610 as the bullish bearish line in the sand. I think it's going to play with it a lot today. Could sell off from here, give us a pullback down into yesterday's lows, and then rally back up. I think that we don't have a lot of data this week, leading into a Jackson Hole on Friday, the Friday and this weekend. So that Jackson Hole kind of slows things down. It's a meeting of the financial minds, and they're going to be doing what they do. We got 1 minute till open here. As a reminder, don't do dumb shit. Slower day today, probably. Yes, it could pick a direction. It could go either way. Just be mindful of that. We are now open, ready to go. I didn't open my quant tower yet, so I am minus that. I wouldn't be convinced completely of a sell-off from the previous day high immediately. I would watch sort of what happens with the S&Ps to give me a little bit of an indication of where I would think things are going to want to go. I had this drawn up from Friday based on a lot of information that we got from Thursday and before that, right? You can see there's reaction there. There was reaction there. We came right down and tagged that as our overnight low. So wait and see to kind of give us a direction. If we get down through here and flush that overnight low, that'd be an ideal scenario for a long setup. And then from there, we kind of just wait and see. A lot of people, as I mentioned in my write-up, are watching NVIDIA for the downside. They have their earnings on the 28th, which is not this week, it's next week. So kind of positioning prior to that. We do have Fed heads talking, so we'll see what they have to say as the week goes on. Could move markets around. Good stuff. Good stuff, Jofi. Good stuff. I like this pressure to the downside to give me an idea here, but I don't think we're going to get all the way down to the overnight low. It'd be nice if we did. It'll give us a setup, but I don't have anything to hammer into right away. Opening range is right here. It's about 94 to 14. Like I said, that 610 level is going to be the important area of interest, right? I gotta do this so I could see this level. That's the opening range right there. This was just a zone that's been drawn up on the S&Ps that has been pretty reactive. Uh, Probably going to leave it there for now. You know what? I'm going to get rid of it. It's not necessary. Let's go with another opening range. It's going to be a low volume week. There's not a lot of data this week. Markets are positioned. They're going to continue to slowly grind until we get more data for the rate cut. My anticipation is we make new all-time highs just prior to September 18th, that rate decision. So it's August. It's the last few weeks of summertime. It's going to be low volume trading. It's going to be just a complete grind of a week. Like I said, low data. There's not a ton of data this week, right? No red folder events until the FOMC minutes on Wednesday at 1, which is really not that moving because we already know what they said. It was last week. And then initial jobless claims, even though it's a 2-star event, that'll move us. So until then, and Friday, you got Powell speaking at the Jackson Hole Symposium. So those are the things that we're going to watch for this week moving ahead. Summer people are just doing things. They just don't care to be buying and being, working as much, especially the people who have money who would be in this game, right? People who would be working in the finance industry are going away. They're taking 3-day weekends. They're doing that stuff. They're not going to be playing in the markets when they know it's historically low volume. People like us are going to be out here every day, but because there's always an opportunity to find. But is that worth it to those bigger players? Not necessarily. Right, they make most of their money in the other months. Nvidia is just bouncing sideways, right? It has been all night. There's the Nvidia all night. Let me make sure I'm on the right chart. Yeah. Okay, so Nvidia all night kind of stayed within our range there, 125 to 122. Same as Friday, same as Thursday, kind of came right up into it and then used that as support. And now we're just in this range. We got to see what happens at either one of these levels. I would really like, if we're going to pull back into overnight lows or push up into overnight highs, need Nvidia to kind of coincide with that at 125.34 and potentially fail it. If it's going to fail it and rotate down, we can get a failed break. If it's going to continue to grind up, then we probably grind up. Last Monday was a grinding day. Today, I would not anticipate much difference in the price action compared to last Monday where we were just chopping around a bit. I'll show you that. Let's get over to Monday of last week. This was Monday of last week on 30-minute. Right here, this is last Monday. Right there, you can see inside two zones. Higher volume early in the morning, sold off into a key support, and then rally until noon, until 10, sell off, stay sideways, not huge expansion like we were seeing the week prior, right? So then you started to get more data, more movement, flattened out, CPI. Then you get the jobless claims really confirming that rate cut decision, then pushing up to 610. And where we're at today is up in that 610 area, right? I'd say we're going to probably play around with this area. That's the bullish bearish line in the sand right there, is that 610 quarters up into the, this, it's a zone, obviously, right? Up into 760. Once you clear 760, I think all-time highs is going to come into play at some point before that rate decision. And then you're going to get that extreme greed, then potentially give that buy the rumor, sell the news type idea coming in, right? I don't see anything of note to kind of let you know of at the moment. It's just a patience game. You are getting some, bouncy price action. You are having a higher low in delta as opposed to the price, but that could change really quick. So because we're not at a key level, there you go. It's heavy delta there. Russell is cruising to the upside, just took a little bit of a break. Let's see if we can get to that level. Well done, Jofi. Good job. Good job, Jofi. Still good to be making money, managing a good position. I would like to stay down into that overnight low, but I need to get it set up there too. Like you can see, we're below VWAP in the NASDAQ, and we're above VWAP in the S&Ps. They are a little bit diverged currently. S&Ps is slightly stronger. With this keep selling, we could see this to push into, like I said, into the overnight lows. I would like to see that level flush. So you're safe, Jofi, at the moment with the sellers coming into play. This is the opening range, 1 minute opening range. Range. There you go. Nice little breakdown there. We seem to be getting more clean technical breaking moves. I don't think any of this is like actual sellers. Everybody always says when you're wrong, you never have too little on, and when you're right, you never have enough on. I would love to see this NVIDIA get down to 122.29. If we can get NVIDIA down to 122.29, we should be able to get the bounce play at the overnight lows. We are trading a brand new fresh combine for you for this week. If you want to join in on the fun, head on over to my link. Let me find it. Head over to my link so you guys can get yourself a fresh combine to start us out with as well. Copy that. Good job, Jofi. Keep playing that. You want to join in on the fun. Top Step is taking away their affiliate program, except for like the big time streamers and the influencer people. I do want to partner with them with the coffee company when the time is right and try and start giving away combines and stuff through the coffee company and not necessarily anything like crazy. So if, oh yeah, big time, huge streamer, biggest on the internet. I don't know, whatever they're doing. But just trying to send people their way to kind of prove that I can stick around and send some more people over, and that the partnership with the coffee company will be worthwhile. So if you do feel like you want to grab a new combine, you'll always get the best rate with that link, either through that or if I can get a code. But it looks like they're probably going to be done with this affiliate program for me next week. So all good. All good. There's the bounce. Unfortunately, it didn't get anywhere near my levels. I'm going to be very patient to try and allow something to set up for me and give me an opportunity to make a decision. I'm going to trade the NVIDIA chart a lot. So if you see me talking about things that you might not see on the screen, or if I'm talking about NVIDIA more and you want to see what I'm talking about, let me know. I'll switch over to this screen right here. I'm sure that was a really nice managed trade there, Jofi. Good job. I'm glad you got some out on the way down. Are you trading micros or are you trading full minis? Micros, I saw that up there. My bad. Micros. So that's the power of micros, really. It allows you to scale in and scale out with a lot less stress. When you are funded, I do recommend it if you're not, comfortable with what's going on with volatility and whatnot. Let's see. Up overhead, we got a 50 lot at 600. There's a 50 lot at 600. Let's see if it fills on larger size. NVIDIA is creeping up to that 2534 level. 600 is basically VWAP, VWAP 601, but you know how the NQ works. Yeah, you can catch more points with micros because you're allowed to let them breathe out. You don't have as much risk on. You're not risking, you can let ideas really play out. And I think people don't take that, take advantage of that enough. When I'm on the combines, I do full minis. I do full minis on funded as well. But I don't oppose scaling down, getting into micros, keeping that consistency, keeping those accounts longer term. You can still make $200 to $500 a day like you just did just there, pretty consistently. Let's see if NVIDIA does creep through that 125.34. Do we get that explosive break of this opening range high? What I would look for if this opening range high does break, if you want to be sort of aggressive on it, you would kind of want to see opening range high break, come into this high at 40, retest, and try and come into that high. If it just breaks straight through and goes and continues on, I don't have an entry, right? I don't have anything to do there, but I may look to implement this, even though it's not the normal strategy. It's kind of using the NVIDIA trade to push up. Yeah, absolutely. It'll build you to be a lot more consistent, a lot cleaner with those micros for sure. Like I said, I'm teaching on next Monday and Tuesday in the boot camp if I get everything sets up correctly. So NVIDIA just cracked the 125.34. It wicked it, and now it's right back below it and kind of holding right back below it. So maybe watch that for a little bit of sell-off, rejection of that level, but I don't know for sure if it's going to totally reject because it does have levels overhead at 126, 127, 129, 130. So every pretty much couple dollars, it's got some interest at it, and we're in a healthy kind of grinding buy side. But like I said, I'm teaching next week, the 26th and 27th in the boot camp. I will kind of go over the power of scaling micros as part of the strategy and part of kind of learning longer term. Charlie took the long from 601. Hopefully you secure it? You took all 10 points? Good job. NVIDIA rejecting 125.34. This is the level I was talking about right here. You can see that level pretty clearly, rejection. You'd believe me when I say I didn't draw that up right just this second. That came into that level and rejected it. So we are now seeing that play out on the NQ and the S&Ps. I would like to see, if you wanted to kind of trust this breakdown on the NQ, you'd like to see S&Ps crack through the opening range and be below VWAP. Right now, the relative strength is holding us over the VWAP. Yeah, that the hourly trend also, it's an hourly, it's a 30, it's, you can see it. I don't have it drawn up, but if you look at it here, you can see pretty much right there that touch, bounce, touch, and then probably go. Yeah, I would like to see the NVIDIA trade maybe wick that level and come back down if it's going to rotate downside. If not, I'm not trying to get messed with at VWAP, right? That's usually where a lot of orders are being executed. A lot of manipulation is going to occur, especially on the NASDAQ, maybe less so on the S&Ps. So watch both of those and check their relative strength to each other. Currently, like I said, S&Ps is up over the VWAP, NQ is down below, relatively weaker. Not crazy weak, but weaker. Delta is trying to be heavy, but you can see it's a little bit diverged, right? It's a wedge type pattern upside, while NQ price action is holding down a little bit. Russell is pulling back, so small caps are pulling back right now, back in the opening range. The only thing that's not in the opening range is the S&Ps. So the divergence is that S&Ps are stronger to the upside. If S&P continues to hold and then break up, especially on the negative delta that it's showing, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point you get these to catch up to each other. The 610 level, as I mentioned, it's going to be very reactive. Above it and holding is bullish. Below it and holding is bearish. And we're going to play with it a lot, I think, at the moment. All right. Let's see if we can get this to start moving in a direction, start to the grinding to the upside. Would be the more likely scenario on a day like today. I think a rotational type day is good. So a failure of previous day highs or overnight highs would make a lot of sense. With the lack of data, with it being Monday, with it being lower volume in August, in the summer months, lower trading ideas, I think you're in good shape here. Kind of just understanding the type of day, the type of news, what you're going to get. These Fed speakers, Waller's talking, I guess now, probably doesn't have anything good or bad to say. Nobody really cares what he has to say. The bill auction at 10:30 could move you around. So if you are still trading at 10:30 Central Time, just be aware that that will come out, and you need to kind of just recognize that it will be out there. If we can get weak through this level, then potentially the short would make some sense. But I need to see S&P catch up. I would like to see S&Ps be down below if the short makes sense. But a break above, push up into 640s, pull back into that opening range high, see what happens at that opening range high. And then maybe you can get a long idea, risking to the bottom of this. Nice little tight $400 risk there to the bottom of the opening range. Like I said, sideways. NVIDIA is not quite moving much at the highs here. It's dancing around with the highs, dancing around with the 125 level. Everything that you see on my chart to the left, the NQ, is what I usually trade off of. So you're going to see me mark up the actual labels. Blue is overnight high. Green is previous day high. That blue box in the middle you can see is labeled 1 minute opening range. Yellow line at the bottom there is the overnight low. This is just a support level that I had drawn up on Friday. And then down here you have the red line, which is previous day lows. All of those same color coordinated thoughts are on the S&P chart. So they're not labeled, but they are the same color coordination. So you do know that blue is the overnight high, green is previous day high, yellow is overnight low, red is previous day low, and this blue box is the opening range, the 1 minute opening range. So just kind of noting that so you can understand, oh, what are those lines? It's, they're the same color coordination, so it's easy to understand for you to kind of just look it back and forth. But I don't actively trade the S&P as much, so I don't really necessarily need to just, I also don't need it because I do it every day, so I know what color is what. NVIDIA just broke through 125.34 and is showing bullishness here, right there. Nice little break. Is it going to push up, retest, pull back, and then go, or is it going to fail? I think NVIDIA doesn't have anything near term close to the left here, so I think for the most part, you should get some push to the high side. If we go to a 30-minute, right? There's a gap fill right here that needs to be done up to 125.90. Could push up into the bottom end of that support at 126. Then I said 127, 130. These are the levels that I'm interested in for the NVIDIA trade idea to play out. So like I said, the gap fill there is at 125.91 for NVIDIA. That's a 30-minute. I want to get down to a 5 just so I can see price action here. There's the pullback down. I don't trust either direction at the moment. I don't think the timing is really ready to go. I think being patient right now is a good thing. One minute opening range. It's going to stay right there. I like the type of wedge that's going on here. Realistically, a lot of the shorts are out of the money. So just note that. No, they're not that far out of the money, so they're still able to kind of take this heat. The longs are basically at even most of them as well. So we're really, like I said, at that 610 decision point where I don't really want to get involved right at it. I do think that either way it goes from here is going to be telling for the rest of the week. I think a break above this level here should give you some sort of bullish behavior because of NASDAQ, NVIDIA holding above that 125.34. If it does fail that level, like I said, should kind of roll over. But if we can break this high here, I think we can kind of carry on to the upside for this opening range breakout type idea. I'll take a shot at it long through this level if NVIDIA wants to hold. I just want to see what NVIDIA does with the next couple minutes. ALZN with a short squeeze. ALZN. What kind of pump is it going? Oh, yeah. ALZN must have got some solid news on that post-traumatic stress disorder study. It's gone from $6 up to $12, doubled up. If you want to see that, that's what Deck is talking about, that short squeeze right there on ALZN. So the break of the pre-market high definitely got you squeezing that thing to the high side. That's how some of those biosciences rock. So it does not affect our trades here. What these show are a little bit of bearish behaviors, NVIDIA and Microsoft. Microsoft could help our timing here. Let's see if I'm going to stay on Microsoft, not on the chart for you guys, but for me. I'm going to keep an eye on Microsoft. I'll keep an eye on NVIDIA on the top chart there so I can keep tabs on both. But I do want to see them both kind of coincide with a good level for me to think about taking my shorts or my longs. NVIDIA, once again, getting back down below 125.34. Microsoft pumping up to 419.27, so it should hold us here. This could be good, but like I said, the S&P is still holding up over that level. This could just be another bounce from here, although it does feel heavy with Microsoft selling. NVIDIA is now selling from previous day highs. The previous day highs there at 125 even, wicking that level. S&P is heavy. NVIDIA heavy. If we can continue down lower, you can maybe take the short on the S&Ps as opposed to on the NQ, right? Trying to catch up. Because I think if we do break that level to the downside, there you go. Stop at break even. Good to go there, Jofi. I think there is some sell side pressure with NVIDIA selling off. Microsoft is doing a dance here and pushing down pretty heavily. So you can see these things starting to help us out to the downside. That's why I said I would wait for this. I can't execute anything for the next 5 minutes. So waiting for that hourly close for me to start making something happen. Although diddling in the middle for me has kept me out of trouble. You know, not diddling out of the middle. Don't do dumb shit, right? I want to see what happens over the next 5 minutes. For me, like I said, when I get within 5 minutes of an hourly close, I don't like to execute. That's where a lot of the manipulation happens. There's closures of levels and whatnot. So I'm going to just take a second and delete the emails. I'm working on more than one thing at a time here. Yeah, I kind of felt like that was going to happen. There's the equities are dancing around. It seems a bit trappy. Like I said, I usually don't take anything within the 5 minutes of an hourly close. I want to see what happens with the hourly close if it stays within this opening range. I think there is a chance. Like I said, much of what I think is upside grind until we get to 760, and then maybe you get some reaction up at 760 today. right? 760-ish, right in that area. I think that's probably going to be an interesting area to target. Yeah, I wouldn't push it. It's Monday in a slow data week. You're going to get grinding price action like this, low volume movements that aren't like ideal to catch giant big swings. And as a day trader, we are trying to just catch small pieces of bigger swings. And if you can't get those big swings, you're going to have a hard time catching the follow through. So it's going to be one of those weeks until you get more data or some unexpected news or something to show you that home run type trade to where you can catch like a couple pieces of it. If you catch the whole thing, good on you. But it's going to be all about timing and consistency and patience, right? If I get no trades today, I get no trades today. If I do, I do. You don't have to trade every day. If I'm not streaming, I maybe take less trades even than I do. But even on stream, I'm taking 1 or 2 trades a day, maybe 3, depending on the scenario that we're seeing. But right now, I see Microsoft breaking through a key structure level of 419.27, pushing up into 419.50. I see NVIDIA creeping up around previous day's highs, which is Friday's highs was 125. So if NVIDIA can get up over 125, hold that, push 125.34, then you may start to see this get that grind high side. But right now, what you're seeing is a little bit of dancing around between Microsoft and NVIDIA. They have been diverging a bit on each other. As Microsoft was pulling back a bit more, NVIDIA was pushing up through that 125 level. And now as we're kind of pulling back in NVIDIA, Microsoft is pushing through the high of the day or attempting to get up closer to the high of the day, which is 419.87. We're at 419.47 currently, so 40 cents away. I do think once we get this hourly close, we'll start to see things push. I think we'll stop buying 2. We are copying across a few combines here. We're looking to get max funding by September as best we can and have the better trading months ahead of us with full funding to maximize our opportunity. If this doesn't come up and break through that opening range high, then the bears stay in control down, and I'm going to be waiting for that overnight low to flush before I try and take a long. I do believe that we can get up over this opening range, stop in, and get a bit more upside. I think that, like I said, the likelihood on lower volume trading, summer months of kind of just steady continued upside is the easier play. It's the more the play that's going to play out a little bit more than any other idea. So I'm going to take that idea here as this could be the breakdown. S&P is still relatively strong. If it can continue to push up, then we're going to continue and try this long. If we get down below overnight lows, we're going to go long from overnight lows. I don't necessarily trust that it's going to break to the downside heavy. You can see S&P is leading us. If S&P gets to that overnight high, previous day high level, and we're in and it's starting to sell from there, then I'm going to be interested in taking my profits kind of quick. I don't expect big explosive moves to happen. I do need to set this. So if I actually get a banger, then I can not go past the 50% rule. If you are on Top Step X and you notice your VWAP is off, zoom out. Make sure you get all the data that you need to get in order to be able to see the entire picture. I'm going to be risking, if it breaks the high, I'm going to be risking down to VWAP. If it continues downside, even better. I really want to see the overnight low flushed, so I'm going to go ahead and wait. It'll be nice to see. That could be trap. I am normally bearishly biased. However, like I said, on these types of ideas, I do think that a lot of times we'd get, pushes up and through levels, especially Microsoft's holding above 419.27. Although NVIDIA is selling off, it's running into like overnight highs from yesterday after 5 o'clock. There was a key structure level. If we can get back up over 124, you might catch a rally. Pushing down through low of the day will get us down to 122.29, hopefully, and then you get down through the overnight low. So there you go with the break of S&P, right? If you're going to take the divergence trade, if S&P breaks 55.81 and holds, then you have the rest of the move down and NQ to potentially kind of trail that with it. So the S&P is probably lagging a bit here. Microsoft rolling some. I'm going to get rid of this for now. That order is canceled. Let's make sure all accounts have it canceled. We don't have any orders out there. $50.50 on the tilt. I like the short side. Yep, later, Jovi. Always a pleasure having you here. Glad you made some money today. Microsoft selling, NVIDIA selling. So we do have that confirmation, the confluence of those if you were taking that short. But you can see S&P still holding up. There's Microsoft selling through 419.27. And you could see NVIDIA came right up above of our 125.34 and failed it and rotated down. So that was my concern of anything long up here. Yeah, no need to force it. You got a whole week left. Like I said, August is going to be trappy. It's going to be not as fun to trade. It's going to be lower volume. You're not going to have as many really great opportunities to take advantage of. If there are opportunities, you got to watch for and wait for them, be patient. And, trade your micros, allow that thing to play out a bit more. For us, it's definitely a lower volume. I'll go back to having 2 out here. I'll take 1 off at 40. 38. Yeah, absolutely. Great habits. Great habits. 600's flashing some size to pull us up there. Only 30 contracts, nothing huge. But like I said, 610 would be an interesting area to watch once we approach it. This does feel like it wants to squeeze through here and push up. Delta's not getting super heavy, which is not showing a good aggressive buyer. I'll enjoy my day. You too as well, Jovi. Always, like I said, a pleasure having you around. If you're over on YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Help us out on the YouTube. If you're on Tradecaster, same deal, whatever the subscribe, please share this with your friends and family. Anybody that wants to learn how to trade, how to be patient, develop good habits. That's kind of what I'm out here to help with. We have taken no trades today. I'm looking to see if we get an explosive move out from the opening range to the high side. If we get any bullishness or bouncing on NVIDIA or Microsoft. Microsoft is now rolling over more. So potentially not. If we break down through 418.50, right? Looking like we're going to do that right now. 418.60 is holding. Like I said, I'm just being a little patient with this. I do want to take the break to the upside. If it comes, if it doesn't come, I'm not entering it. I want to see the flush of the overnight low. My normal A+ strategy here, if you've never been here before, is we look for the break of overnight levels, high or low. Either get some sort of lower wedge pattern and look for a break and fail breakout of the overnight low to rotate us back to VWAP as first targets. That's our go-to, either high side or low side. So that's what I would ideally like to see happen. Or maybe with the heaviness in Microsoft and NVIDIA, we can get down to that overnight low. But right now, S&P is holding relative strength, held that opening range low once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, once, 2, 3, 4 times. Holding that opening range low, getting some buyers to step in I think we got a higher low here, right? Higher low here, higher low there. If we get a break of this, I would expect a push up to here. Does it just trap me in and roll over? That's the risk I'm kind of willing to take on this, right? Just watch that. You have them here and here, right there, rejecting that level. And then those same times correlate with a higher low right there and right there. So those are equal lows in the S&Ps. You got the crack and break to the high side. Let's see now, do we break and start to squeeze on up? Microsoft's getting a bid. NVIDIA looking like it's bouncing a little from the lows. 1 minute opening range. Little tag is trying to get in our way here. I'm going to buy the break of that high of the opening range. I'm going to risk basically to VWAP, see if I can get this thing to get one contract off just shy of the high of that first pre-market there. See if we can get squeezed through the previous day high as well. See how much we can take off of this. This is just playing the relative strength of everything and not breaking down, not getting to the overnight lows, trying to play with this 610 level a lot, not necessarily. If it holds it, then we can definitely see some good behaviors here. Over VWAP, we got strong delta pushing up over VWAP. I don't have any huge size overhead. 34s, 616. It flashed and disappeared, flashed, disappeared. So they're flashing size overhead to draw us in. So let's see if we can get a breakout from this level here. Could have played the break of the opening range low. I think that was a clean, wedging pattern there as well. So we're going to play it. If it gets us wicked in, wicked out, it is all right. But we are in a combine, so I'm a little bit more risky on the combine. I'm willing to take the idea here and let it play out a little. Let's see if it squeezes up. The S&Ps being at previous day highs does concern me. I would like it to get up over that first. Microsoft pushing up higher, NVIDIA pushing up higher. See if Microsoft squeezes through 419.27. Let's see if it'll help us out. Or if it sells from there, then we're going to be screwed over. I'm taking it on 2 contracts, trying to take one off at that 40 level. If it pushes down to VWAP, I'm going to be out at down 510. But I'm going to look to re-enter that again. But that could just be the trap. Wicked in, wicked out type deal. I'm willing to take 2 trades on a combine. I give it a little bit more room on a combine than I do on a XFA. So understand that. Dancing heaviness, trying to hold the 10. 610 is that key level, right? Like I said, 610, if it can hold and stay above it, it's bullish. If it breaks through 610 heavily, then it's bearish. So if we could get this to push up, did a good job of holding through that pull back to 610. Can we now get above 620 and squeeze through 620 to push up into that level there? So we are healthfully now up. I'm going to go ahead and move my stop to even. If it doesn't break, then I'm cool. If it does break, even better. It's probably a little quick to get my stop to even, but like I said, I'm not going to be crazy on this. If it wicked that high and rotates back down, I could re-enter if it comes back down through 600, right? There we go. I'm down 35. I'm cool with that. I don't want it to wick that, come down through 610 and rotate up, right? Wick the high of the day there. Just because my normal strategy is playing failed breakouts of previous day highs. And if S&Ps isn't going to break previous day highs, then we're not going to be able to play that. Do I think you're still safe in this trade? Absolutely. Through 610 should hold. If not, you just take your loss and move on. But I took my break even there. All these. All right, there we're good. I always check my copiers. This is not my A+ setups, like full on. So I don't trust it too much. I think the long was better from down here, as I talked about with this this kind of trend here, break with the higher low, right? That gave you the conviction to take that. And Microsoft rejected 419.27, so we're not getting the follow through to the upside that I would have liked to see that thing squeeze. Do I think it still continues on up? Probably, but in this low volume inside day, I'm not looking to go crazy with it, right? For me to take a break-even trade there, I'm perfectly happy with it. I want things to squeeze and go quickly. I don't want to have it pop, come back, dance around with my level. That's not the trades I like to take. Starting to see it get a little heavier, failing that overnight previous day high on the S&Ps. Can we get another break of it? Yeah, I think we could. Let's see if we retest VWAP and then get like a wick down to the opening range low. That'd be great. 610, once again, getting tested. At 630, we do have a 40 lot kind of sitting there, so it hasn't pulled yet. I think we are going to try and pull up to 630 to get some reaction. So let's see. We'll try the reentry. Stop by 2 there. If it gets to 30 quick, then we'll take that. But I want it to pop to 38. I'll get to even quick if it gets to 30. All right, we're long again. Risk to 605. Just based on that magnet drawing us up to 30. Trying to see that order flow stuff play out. It's dancing around with that opening range high a lot. Microsoft doing a little dance. We're not breaking quick enough for me. Get up over that level there, above 20s. I want this to get up over that, push to 30s. There is a size at 30s, right? I said 30s should get filled. If it's not going to magnetize to it, if somebody's going to front run the short in front of that 30, it's sitting on the bid. I mean, on the ask up there. It hasn't pulled. So most of the time when we see those bigger, it's not huge. It's not like a 100 lot or anything, but it's a 30 lot that's been sitting there. So it looks like it wants to get filled. I just don't know if it's going to get there before we can pull our stops. I think we might sell off here with Microsoft. It's holding, it's holding, it's holding. I have this stop at 605 right now. It's going to stop me out. Yeah, we're stopped there. It's very heavy. Very heavy. It's a range. Like I said, that's not usually my, A+ setup there, but on the combines, I am a little bit aggressive. I'm trying to catch something, give you guys some thoughts to think about what you could play through with Microsoft selling a little bit. I mean, it's kind of in a tight wedge pattern here. If it breaks down through 418.50s, like I said, I think it continues to push downside. If we break back above 419.27, you probably get the squeeze push on up. This is the Microsoft idea there. You could see Microsoft kind of creeped up to that 419, never broke it. That was the thought on what we were looking for. That 630 level still has 40 lots sitting on it. So just going to scale back maybe a little bit on the size. You got the delta wanting to be strong. I mean, it's just playing us a little bit here. Microsoft breaking down for 1850. Maybe that gives us heaviness. Do we get this to be a support level? Or is it more like that? Or is it more like on the bodies? That's something you got to decide on your own there. I think more likely is that kind of support level there. And there's the break. Once Microsoft broke through that 418.50, you got that heaviness, right? Oh, I got to get rid of these executions because they're in my way. Show execution, save. I think I got slipped a little on that stop because I was only risking 500 and it got me to 600, so that's fun. It did not save that little trend line that I drew, so there's some little nuance to the Top Step X platform that still is not perfect. Not going to say it's perfect. That's a nice support level there. Nvidia's getting heavy. Microsoft's getting heavy. This was worth taking the shot at for me personally, just based on the way the equities were acting. Now seeing, I mean, still, you could see you could trade this on the S&Ps as opposed to the NQ, right? Because NQ is leading us. I'm not going to take that now. It's not worth the risk here. But the break of that opening range low, once you re-break it again, S&Ps can pull us, follow. So find which one's the follower, follow divergence. You could find that opportunity there. Let's see if the overnight low breaks and holds, or if it's going to break and become an issue. Nvidia does have down for some support down here. I mean, we do have low of the day, but I think 123.75 would be a nice level to watch. 123.75 for Nvidia. Can we get to low of the day and break overnight lows and make a nice move? Or is this going to just hold this low of the day and rotate back up? Think through it. Have a good plan. Let's see, making sure all of these are good. 49.5, 85, 55, 49.5. Okay. Alrighty. Usually we don't. If I was in an XFA, probably not taking these trades. Definitely not taking them with that size. 2 contracts there. Willing to take a little bit extra risk trying to get that to pull to the resting order that's there. Last week we saw a lot of the resting orders get tagged, and today I didn't see that pull happen. There was some sitting at 30. We're gonna wait and see if we can get our good setup now. Breakdown of the overnight low would be nice. 123.75 on Nvidia could be a bounce location. Also 123.60. Good area for it to bounce from. So if we can get that flush of the overnight low, get our good setup to come in. S&P is a little bit away from that low, although we do have an interesting area right here to bounce from at 55.71. So 55.71 for S&Ps, and NQ needs to get through the overnight low for us to get that nice rotation. I wouldn't hate to see it sweep like 510 and then start to come back up. Well done, Scotty. Well done. I like it. Heaviness is coming. You saw this is the opening range. We had double top action there. Breakdown down to the opening range low. Overnight low, I should say. Good trading there. Clean. I said you could trade it right here on the S&Ps. You could play the breakdown of this level if you broke this prior, right? You can see where we're at. You got the heaviness on the S&P, on the NQ. Once you broke through VWAP and started to push down heavier, that was a pretty clean move there from 80, you can call it 81 down to 71, basically 73 at the moment, but 71 is a good area for it to be a target. Even further, I mean, you're safe. Microsoft right at a structure level here at 1655. It is breaking through that level. Not convinced that it's going to hold. And Nvidia is trying to catch a bounce from that 123.80 level. So we never made it to the overnight low. Let's see if we can get through that overnight low and get a setup here. Microsoft bouncing from 416.57. Right there. Good bounce play idea. Could have tried to front run the overnight low, but never quite got there. And Nvidia on the normal pullback to support bounce play idea. And now you can see clean bounce play, just never got to our overnight level. Still stuck tight within the overnight range within the previous day, like an inside type candle day. I would like to see more of a flush of the overnight low to get us involved. And if we crack the high here, I think a third time's the charm. If you get, all these orders here trapped short and out of the money, you have a strong delta push. I think we could definitely get another chance at it to the highs, right? Give a squeeze, push. 9:22 here, Central Time. On a lower data week with, not as much coming out. If barring any like outside news, you get a lot of this kind of grindy price action here. Understanding that this is the kind of day that you're probably going to see on a Monday, and just allowing things to set up, play out for you it's a good idea to kind of just be really, really patient. Try and catch these moves as they present themselves. Have a thesis. Don't be married to it. And just react. Don't do dumb shit. I am trying to pass a few more combines in crappy market conditions for me. So trying to show you the best opportunities that are out there. Just talking through what would make sense. If X happens, then this happens, right? You can see S&P's is getting through opening range high. If this is now leading us, I want to see this breakthrough here and actually come with some conviction. Do we have any size on the bids, on the asks? What do we got going on here? 30 lots up there, 597. Probably draw us to 600. I'm surprised I don't see anything at 600 sitting on the bid or on the ask. I mean, Delta didn't pull back as deep as price. If you get back up over this, you would expect buyers to kind of become aggressive. Microsoft running into a little bit of that pre-market resistance, but I think you're safe currently. 417.30 for Microsoft is the low from from Friday. So we flushed that low from Friday and we're rotating back out of it, trying to push back up into low of the day. If Microsoft gets over 418, then I think we could start to squeeze this. NVIDIA is creating this like longer wedging pattern. If NVIDIA breaks above 125, that's where you'll get the squeeze there. If this is just going to be a lower high retest breakdown, then you might get a continuation through the overnight low. It's all relative, right? I don't want to not catch that break to the high side if it happens. So like I said, I don't hate this idea still on a third test of it. If it's going to squeeze, I want to be a part of it on a combine, not on an XFA. This is a little bit of a, testing ground here to see if I can get these ideas to play out. This does make sense for a continuation downside for the breakdown retest idea. But I don't, like I said, with the S&Ps trying to continuously break through this opening range high, I'm looking to kind of approach that previous day high again. I want to get to those levels as well in the NQ before like an actual seller would step in. But I don't even think that that'll really induce selling on a day like today. I think kind of if it does pick a direction, it's going to stay directional. But if it stays just inside, and if this is another rotation from this location, then we're just going to be tagged in, tagged out kind of play here. And I'm willing to take it with the two contracts on the combine. Microsoft holding that previous day low. NVIDIA also holding previous day's levels. But if it can break above 124.75, should get up to 125, then we should get a decision to whether it's going to continue to squeeze or not. $605 has 30 lots sitting there. You know, Delta not getting extremely aggressive on VWAP, which is interesting, at a key level of 600. I still think 610 is that line in the sand. If it holds and we can get back above it, we should be pushing to the upside. $620, 36 contracts there. I'm willing to take it with this idea here that the S&P is leading us upside. Where's that opening range high? That 610 reactive again. You can see we're 610 reacting. Push on up. Give me a nice squeeze here through that level. I want it to just pop through that and just continue on. I'll get to even kind of quick because we don't have that much drawdown left. We have $400 to draw down, so I will get quick break even. It might not help us, but just with the combine, I'm just willing to take that chance. Get through it. Get through it. Come on. Get through 20. I need to save the monies. If that rejects immediately, I'll be a little annoyed. The top ticket. Damn you. Damn you. Looks like we're going to get stopped out here, potentially. Yep. All right. And we're done for the day. Great job, everybody, for me. Just overall, I'm trying this, and it's going to rotate on me and picking the top. I would assume it does break out. The timing of it was probably just poor. Probably should have maybe had the entry above 21 based on the way that price was acting here, but it is what it is. Maybe it'll allow me in with one contract. Let's see if I can get out of a $4 hole. I don't think it's going to give me that much room. Like I said, we're trying to be aggressive on these combines to get ourselves back to funded by the 1st of September. You can see right here, this is the Microsoft rejection. That kind of did not help us right there at all. I'm going to try this right here on this break. If I have $4 of drawdown, if it takes any sort of drawdown, we'll be out. If it pops and explodes, maybe we can get ourselves out of the hole. This one's just more of a, is this going to break here or not type idea. Not the best start to this new combine, but we are doing our best to, like I said, I'm aggressive on these with the two contracts. Probably should have been in on one on the last attempt, but I was trying to get the idea to try and front run this failed rejection to pop up and take it up that side, but I did not do that. I still think that the idea long is probably the proper idea, but at the end of the day, I don't have any, see, that's the drawdown, immediately tagged out. But this is probably the time where it goes through and on up. And we didn't have enough, because I sized a bit aggressively on this account, these combines, to try and pass a little quicker. You just kind of get yourself into a little bit of trouble. Like we were talking with Jofi, sizing down is appropriate. And there's the squeeze right to 30. So that was the idea. Wah, wah, wah. So this is the detriment to sizing up right here, right? That we took those trades. They were great ideas. The thought process behind them was correct. The timing was good, sort of. We squeezed right up to 30 like I anticipated. Could have took that bang 10 points, one off, and then allowed this thing to go as far as it wants to go. I just didn't execute properly. That's on me. The idea is good still, so if you are thinking, if you did take it that time, you had enough drawdown, you could have got that one off for $200. You could have been at even. You could be, still having that risk to the bottom and waiting. Microsoft is selling, though, from that high, so just be cautious. And NVIDIA just tagged off 125.34 again and is rejecting it a little bit, but could be, actually, it is rejecting, so I would be cautious on this now for another leg to the downside. Alrighty. Well, tomorrow back at it again with 3 combines, still working them. 50,000, 126, 49, 557. So we still have drawdown in all of these still available. 49, 48, even. I'm not out of bullets totally, just out of bullets for the day on this combine here. So this is another reason I don't take these trades. So this is like I said, this is the combine. This is the testing grounds where I do more aggressive behavior. I try different kinds of setups. I try to do a bit more. I need to get this trade right there, but I need it to get a bit lower. I like the flush of overnight levels. I would like to see this more of a zone, I guess, at this point. The breakout point from Friday was that level there. When we wedged out and down, it was 535 quarters. So looking at that, kind of using that to our advantage for today, could have realistically waited for that to come in here, tried one long through 535 on smaller size and allowed it to play itself out. That's the play that I like more than what I've been trying here. I still think that this is, in general, probably the direction it goes at some point today. It's not going right now, but at some point during the day, previous day highs we'd like to see that get tagged. S&P's is doing it now, so that is probably what is causing this rejection of this opening range high here. So staying inside the day. Our A+ setups are these areas here, right here, and, like right here, these areas. That's what I'm looking for. And obviously, like I said, this overnight low level to get flushed, failed to break, get what we got going on here, these types of tops, but at previous day levels. I'm going to start to include this opening range idea if I can see it be a little less supportive. But right now we've literally gone nowhere on the day, and based on what I said that today was going to be an inside ranging kind of day, the likelihood of taking these shorts was probably a better idea for me, but I didn't execute that way. So it is what it is. I talked about the breakdown here of S&Ps as opposed to the NQ. Since the S&Ps were relatively strong and we're holding this, hold, right? We had a higher low. There was a good reason why I took the long here. There was at least a thesis to it. Once you see this breakdown here at 916 of VWAP and the low, you can see where we were at in the S&Ps, right? So NQ broke that low at around 916. That 19,593. If you go over here, same time, once you break that next candle through that low, you can expect that kind of, because it was heavy here. They're the same instrument basically, so you could take that divergence play there where NQ let it, so you can take the breakdown to that level and try to trail it out kind of tight, and would have been successful there on that move. As I talked about, I kept mentioning it. I didn't take it. Probably should have. Obviously hindsight's always 2020, but we also talked about this right here as well, being our setup was approaching and never quite got it. So overall, if we can get through this high, then that's probably better timing. Need to see what Microsoft does. And once again, I said that 610 level is that area that it probably dances around and battles with, and that's kind of where we're at. Yes, it's a little bit above. Yes, it's a little bit below, but we're right at that 610 zone. NQ1, boom. If we go over to this chart right here, boom, that 610 level, reject. If it gets up into here, I think rotation does come into those highs. But we've rejected it pretty much once, twice. Now, I think maybe we want to just stay around here for a little bit longer. Timing better now. Microsoft gave that breakdown. Looking to squeeze through this 417.40. If that's the case, then we might get some movement. NVIDIA as well, trying to kind of hold the support of the consolidation of these highs at 124.90, 124.95, 92, right at 125, which is high of the day from yesterday, Friday. Microsoft breaking through 417.40. You took a short here. I think it's going to be long through this at this point, now that Microsoft's squeezing. But I was wrong 3 times, so you could go ahead and take that with a grain of salt. I think you were fine to get stopped out there at even. Like I said, I think with NVIDIA creeping up, holding above the high of Friday, creeping up to 125.34, Microsoft just started to buy. I think you can maybe be safer in this to the high side. Still just trapped in that opening range. And S&P's is up over that. If S&P's gets through previous day highs again and starts to push up into the overnight highs, then that may drive this finally to the high side. If not, if it rejects it again and rotates back down, then watch for this to melt off one more time. There it goes, rejecting that. You can see this pattern here. If you get that to break, opening range breakdown, NQ wants to be heavy, it feels like, as opposed to the S&Ps. Something about it doesn't want to work out. Microsoft's interesting because Microsoft's trying to break low of the day from Friday, and NVIDIA is trying to hold high of the day from Friday. So 2 names that are doing slightly different things. But if NVIDIA holds high of day from Friday and Microsoft holds low of day from Friday, then that's when you start to get everything kind of work together to start to rally these to the upside. I still am a bit long biased on the day for some reason. Obviously, it's going to be an inside rotational type morning. If you were playing that breakdown, you were just fine. And if you're up enough where you try it again and it fails and whatever, right? This is what I was trying to get, where I could get one off and then get to even. Just never got the follow through on any of those moves. Like these are all convincing bullish type of setups. I just wasn't able to time it correctly. Once again, we're approaching that 20 level. If it wants to break and go, it may give you that squeeze. S&P is breaking through previous day highs. Does it fail it one more time, or does it squeeze up through overnight highs? Basing pattern, basing pattern, basing pattern. It's winding up for something. If whichever way it breaks, it's going to go probably on a little bit of volume. But right now you can see it's still lower volume, nothing crazy. I don't see any order flow that would be of note, right? There's not like huge orders popping in and out. Up overhead there is a 30 lot at 38. Russell broke through the high there, now is pushing upside. S&P broke through the high, right? And NQ is lagging a lot. It wants to be relatively weak. What's NVIDIA doing? NVIDIA still holding 125. Looking to break 125.34. If NVIDIA breaks 125.34, watch. Let's see how high it'll go. You can see over here, Microsoft holding that force, that dotted line is Friday's low, trying to hold it. If it can get enough buyers there, you can get it to go. If NVIDIA breaks that white dotted line to the high side, I would anticipate more upside. Breakthrough high of day of 125.66. But it needs to break that 125.34. If it fails this again and rotates back down through 125, maybe another rotation down. See what Microsoft's doing there. You can see it's just dancing around with that level. It's not quite sure. Does it want to sell? Does it want to buy? Who's leading right now in this game? Seems like Microsoft is holding the NQ back compared to the S&Ps. Switch. Thank you. Got the silver mug. No, I'm good. And like I said, once again, the 610 level being that area of defense. I did size up on a lower probability setup, and that's what I deserve to get on the drawdown. Like I said, with the combines, I usually go with like 2 contracts, trying to work shedding off contracts as price moves in my favor. Most of the time, I try to cut these at even if they're not moving immediately. You can see most of the time I want these things to move immediately. I didn't. I let this one fully stop me because I wanted to see if it would get going, which ended up being an oversized loss. So like with that $500 loser, it should have only been 500, but we slipped down to 610 somehow, which is just how it goes. You're going to get some slippage. $100 worth of slippage is kind of annoying. Frustrating to not be able to access this this squeeze that possibly will happen, and or the short that will possibly happen. Right, just didn't allow myself the proper amount of setup. I kind of, like I said, I don't think any of these were forced. Right, this looks to be bullish here. Stops you out there on the second test, like higher low here. Good opportunity to take a long. Nothing that I don't think I would take again. You know, maybe the size was incorrect, but this is the idea for the day with the lower volume, with the grinding price action, with the idea that we have no news that's going to push us lower at the moment, right? There's nothing that's saying we should go lower. So basically, the longs through the opening range high technically should push you. And now that we're kind of, this seller is finally trying to give up on, it looks like increasing volume here. This push to the high side could be the final one that actually gets us going, or it'll be another just like trap of longs to go, because S&P's is over overnight highs, and we're not even close to previous day highs in the NASDAQ. Microsoft building into it. I don't, like I said, it's a slower volume type day. You got that kind of setup up here. You rotated right to 416.57, where I was talking about that bounce play. Probably could have played the bounce on Microsoft for that long, confirmation from the overnight low, but nothing for me. NVIDIA is still trying to break through that 125.34, but just can't get through that either. I don't know what to say about this price action other than it's completely sideways. You got a flat VWAP. I was trying to play the divergences here of the breakouts because of the way S&P is so strong off of here. You're trying to break through these levels on the NQ to follow through. NQ, like I said, relatively weak compared, and then rotate down, each time from that high. Ooh, low volume Monday on August. No data day. Slow grinding price action. Really don't have opportunity. I mean, like I said, there's probably still grinds to the high side at this point, but it's super slow. Not giving you that volume break. Now you're starting to see it push a little. There's the push, finally pushing. And there is the actual thought of what would go down here. Like I said, oversized a bit on a couple of these in the combine. That's the kind of environment that I got going on. Watch to see what happens at these previous day high levels. That was the target for me for this push, previous day highs and then overnight highs. I think if you start to push up into those levels, you do probably have some more rotation for the day. I don't think that we get enough to break and continue to rock and roll. I mean, 700 isn't terribly unrealistic. So if you took these ideas, you took these longs, and you sized correctly, you could have maybe took another shot at this one. I was thinking that the break retest probably is the best. Break retest here, break retest, maybe I wait on some of these other ones. This was the one that I would have liked to have caught. I would have been able to get one contract off at 30 and then probably break even on that one. Then this one, same thing. If you take two, get one off at 38, then you kind of continue on straight to 60. 9,660, watch that previous day high because it wants to catch up to the to the S&Ps. You got Nvidia breaking through that high there. So you see Nvidia broke through and Microsoft probably bounced. And there you go. So watching for these confluences, watching these equities help your trade idea is what is going on. Unfortunately for me, I didn't catch the play that should have been caught, which is probably the bounce from the low of the just front running that overnight low. But it is what it is. Those are the ideas there. I talked through all of these and I just executed a little bit poorly, manipulated out of these ones. And then now you get that break to the high side. So still seeing the market really, really well. Understanding the dynamics of the day. I got to do a better job of executing, waiting for this to come in, take it over here, and then try and front run that rotation based on the way price action's been acting over the last month. Like I said, August has kicked my ass, and it's more so just a timing issue because I have pretty much been able to talk about exactly what should be going on each and every day based on the environment that we have. So, noting this long from here was a good idea because of the bounce from 416.57 on the Microsoft. Front running the overnight low was probably an okay idea. Trying to take these breaks to these highs. These are bullish behaviors. I just didn't quite, it didn't follow through until this one here. So once, twice, third time, tried to play that, failed, break. It is what it is. So right to that previous day high. Beautiful move to the previous day high right there. So if you took the long from 15 or 20, if you waited for 20s, up to 60, that's 40 points. Right there. If you took the break there to the upper band of VWAP, nice little 840 per contract. Beautiful. Beautiful. Terrible timing on my behalf. And now you got the fail of the previous day high. This is where I expect rotation to come in. So this is why I wait for these levels to come in when I play my fucking XFAs, right? I wait for these ideas to come in because these are where I get reaction. When I play with these levels here, this is where I get manipulated. So that's my thing. Manipulation here. This is the true break and move. What time is that? We could see it on the break of the high of the day here. And then on Microsoft, that was timed with, what time was that? 9:49. So 9:49 is this candle right here. Right here. So waiting for that break of this structure to go to the upside would help you to understand that you get that push right over here. If you're up today, I don't think you have any issues of just walking away. I would love to be up to 50 times 3 today. I would love to take the trades that make the most sense. But today I did not. I oversized a little on these two. Took some slippage, unfortunately. I don't know why that slipped so much. Because I should have only been out, even though it would have still, I would have left it for another second. Let's see. Why was that slipped to so high? 580 on that one. Down to 603. Yep. Three minutes till 10 o'clock here. Normally we stream 8:30 to 11 Central Time. Kind of just chewed up a little bit at the top of that opening range. Break. Not really too concerned with my market outlook because everything that I wrote up, if you read the write-up, the weekly write-up, it's all there. Just talking through everything that kind of played out, bounced, how I thought that today would be more of the 610 level is going to be your bearish, bullish decision point. And, over here, you can see it a little bit more clear. You can see we rejected it a few times, but the last time we never quite made it any deeper. We held this pre-midnight low, which is weird. I don't know why that does that. It still does not want to get to be correct for me after midnight for the overnight low, but it is what it is. Realistically, held that level, that pre-midnight low, and then once you got back over 610 again, you push right into previous day highs, which, like I said, I think it's kind of a rotational Monday. It's going to be difficult to get like a really good volume today. I don't think there's going to be like huge moves, but the grind to the high side, 760 isn't crazy out of the realm of possibility. All right, I drew it up. I don't think that there's big moves to be had on a day like today, on a Monday where you're middle of the summer month. August is technically the worst month for me to trade, obviously. But I'm still going to be working on these combines, still trying to get myself max funding by September, doing my best to do that. Let's see. Oops. Deleting some emails here, tons of random nonsense. See if my coffee will be delivered. Yeah, it should be. I talked to Jofi there, who was interested in sizing down today, and he did a really good job. He made $500 on the combines, and it was good for him to to size down on a day like today, because I could have had another shot at it if I sized down instead of sizing up, but she happened. What combine is that? 69. See if we can. Let's do this. Fuck it. Give ourselves an opportunity for the next 30 minutes. What in the world? It doesn't make any sense. 47. I don't think that we get like a really great failed rejection. I think now that we're trying to catch a bid here, there's a chance that it still keeps going. I think the overnight highs need to kind of come into play. 760 is that upside area that I would look to be seeing. I mean, like I said, I talked through this as being failed breakdowns of the opening range 3 times, rotate back up. You know, the break of this high here, it probably just leads to steady buying, grinding. I talked through it the whole day. Sometimes, you know, like I hate being right and executing wrong. That's the worst part of the trading, I think. It's not that you don't have to be right. It doesn't fucking matter if you're right or wrong. I don't care about the thesis being correct. You have to be able to execute on your plans. And unfortunately, like I said, today I had an idea on it. I tried it and it just didn't work out. And that's just on the idea of trying something that's slightly different than my normal go-to A+ type idea. I'm gonna give me for the next hour. I need one more anyway, so let's reset this one. Give ourselves a chance on that, and we'll see. Trying longs here. Let's see, Abby. Let's see what you got. Tight stop. Let's see what this combine will do. I'm gonna fade you and see if we can get a fade of it. I think the long is a good idea. There's some size at 50, at 75. There's a 50 lot at 75, so you could probably get a couple. I don't know how many contracts you got on, but 75 shows some size there. If this is going to be rotational, then a short from the high is interesting. Microsoft making lower high as well. NVIDIA is squeezing. You should still be good. I think NVIDIA 125.99 is the high right now. I think NVIDIA does have opportunity to get a little bit higher, like 126. What did I say the gap fill was on NVIDIA? The gap fill on NVIDIA was right here. So this is the gap fill. We're at it right now for NVIDIA. 125.90 was the gap fill right here. You can see there could be some reaction here for a little bit of selling, but if you get back up over this 126, then pushing up to 126.97 isn't crazy to think that that would happen. But like I said, we filled that gap, could push back down to that 125.34 level a little bit. No, it's like I said, it's going to be a slow grinding kind of price action day just based on the time of the year, the month, the week that doesn't have a lot of data. Jackson holes at the end of the week. A lot of people are going to be, you know, out of this market. You're not going to get a huge order size sitting out here. I mean, you do have 40 and 45 lots sitting here at 70 and 75. So if they get filled, if you start to see big size, there's 70 that got filled and they pulled that order. it is moving again. If that's going to be a failed breakout, then I would like to rotate it down through. If it is going to continue on, then we never get triggered on that. But this is the area where I'm more interested. This is not good price action. I'm down on the day, right? But the idea was correct for what we were talking about from these levels here. I just didn't get the timing correct. And I think if it's going to stay rotational, we potentially fail the previous day high and re-enter the previous day's range. Yeah, I mean, I think today was more of a size down type day, like Jofi and I were talking about in the very beginning. He was down, sizing down, taking micros, which is great. I think that's the right way to go. I'm going to just linger here. I started this other combine. See what we can get going. If anything's going to fail, if this slow, grinding, crappy price action, this was the higher volume right here. Lower volume now coming in. You see aggressive sellers. There is a bigger size sitting at 75 again, 50 contracts. You're at the upper band of VWAP. If you can fail the upper band and start to rotate back down, then potentially you do get that failure of the overnight high. But S&P is still relatively strong. Russell still looking like it wants to push high of day. NVIDIA just kind of dancing around 126, and Microsoft is flattening out here at 418.25. So not a ton of really good price action left. I think what the play was the long front running the previous day low. Obviously, hindsight, that looks like the great play there. Also, the break of the S&Ps on the break of this here, we talked about that as well. And then when the breakouts, once S&P was relatively strong, the play up was clearly the direction is probably going to pick. Do I think I get trapped into this? Probably, but I think we could potentially get some out of this if it does decide to fail and rotate downside just a little. I think we continue to go up. I have this order here just in case it decides to just give me one of those big melting candles, right? The big heavy push down. That's just my failed breakout strategy working to my advantage here. Mean reversion back to VWAP on a low volume rotational type day. That's the thought on this. However, I don't think that it can't get to 760. I think 760 is realistic on the grind to the high side. Even though I've locked out on a couple combines, I really thought that idea was the right idea here, long from that. If you're able to size it correctly, maybe do a little bit better. But unfortunately, I did not. So it is what it is. Microsoft flushed to 418 and now is holding 418. Overall, like I said, everything coming into the day, coming into the week, had a really good expectations of what kind of price action we'd get. I just have to do a better job of executing, and that's fine with me. Like I said, with these combines, I'm slightly more aggressive, a little bit more oversized than I would be on an XFA, and it's only because I know how I can pass these and how much room I could give myself. Tomorrow maybe it's going to be slightly different price action, but very similar in that the volume will probably be similar. We'll have a better opportunity to kind of maximize the gains and whatnot in these accounts, and just kind of go from there. And like I said, my goal is to be max funded by September. I know that August trading is shitty for me and for most people based on the low volume summertime months, last little hurrah before everybody comes back from summer vacation and whatnot. So thinking through this, trying to get this to go short through here. It is, there's the heaviness, there's the breakdown. I want to try and get one off at 40. Let's get it off there at 43. I'm letting this thing dance around a little bit more than I would like, but I'm going to try and play this a little bit more loose. If this is going to be a failed break of the previous day high, then potentially we'll be rotating down, and it should get down to VWAP, or maybe at least even this, touch point there on that trend line. And Microsoft is not helping us out much. Nvidia is not either. So I'm not trusting this as a short, but it's worth it for me to hold on this combine. If we crack through the low here, I will go to even and then just see what happens with it. I don't like that. I'll risk 3 on it. Actually, 666 is likely to get tagged, so let's get over 667. Microsoft found a low. There we go. Come on, get heavy, dude. Nvidia is still strong. But the NQ is weak even with Nvidia being kind of strong. Microsoft selling so that we get through the low there. I'm going to go to even now and see if we can get this off at the low. If it's not going to sweep it and going to rotate up, then we're going to get stopped out anyway. So we might as well stop out now as opposed to at the highs, right? I need that to go quicker. These other names are strong. I think Microsoft found a low. I'm not opposed to the long side either, based on my original thesis. Nope, there's the heaviness. Is it going to break the low again? 650, there it goes. So stopped out at even on it. Failed break of our key level does once again play. See if it would have gotten me out at 44 or 43 is what I had that first target at, 43. And it's dancing around with that 50 level quite a bit. Is that going to find a bid from that level? aggressive buyer stepping in there. There is orders up to 73. There's a 55 lot at 73. Can this rotate down, or is it going to pop on us through this high? I did mention, I mean, like I said, I have my order here at 43. There, it would have got tagged there. So, not trusting that setup was my bad. It is what it is. Trade worked out on that one, though. That was a really good short a little bit there. So this play worked nicely. Good to note that our strategy does work well. Strategy of fail breaks of previous day highs. Yeah, I mean, I was fine. I trailed too quickly on it, but it's fine. Based on the way I've been trading today, I didn't want to be the guy. Yep, it just happens, dude. Just not trusting the price action on the day, it definitely gets to you at times. I just felt like I saw Nvidia still creeping up. I saw Microsoft still creeping up, and I'm like, if it breaks upside at all, then potentially the run up. But that's short of the key level. I mean, really nice move there for you guys. We all did the same thing on it. It's tricky. That's why I had that first take profit at 43 there. I think that we do. Hey, you guys are still green, though. It's all good. It's all good. Sometimes you get whipped out on crappy price action days. Microsoft low that it's trying to kind of battle with is this 417.75 level. So we're kind of right around there. The low of that is 417.67. That's the low of the previous candle that it flushed and then popped right back above it. If Microsoft wants to catch a bid again, that could be an area where it does it. And then that could drive us up. Nvidia still, it closed that gap and then it sold, like I mentioned. So that did give us the confidence to kind of take this area for that short. However, I don't trust that it's not going to continue to grind its way to the upside. And I said 760 isn't technically out of play today. I think it could come up into that area for the day. Thinking through this through the long perspective, what kind of timing would we need to get it there? Is this pop, you would expect people to be stopped out above 54 on a nice break candle like that. Do they start to squeeze it through here, then through there, then through the highs? Thinking it through, we got a 54 contract still sitting at 74. 73. So that just above that upper band of VWAP still has some size to it sitting on the books. Nvidia is catching a bit of a bid. Microsoft still rolling. Sold. Wicked it. Let's see if it gets down to this trend line and pops or not. Right, if we kind of can use that area as the bounce play type idea. I think pullbacks just get bid up in this market. Do I think we get all the way to overnight lows? I don't necessarily think so. So like I said, that likelihood of upside is probably more than the downside potential. Let's see what happens if Microsoft gets to 417.30. Really good short from that previous day high. Like I said, in a combine environment, I'm a little aggressive, but I'm also slightly sized up. In an XFA, do I take that trade? Absolutely. Do I get to even, kind of quick trail this out a little quicker? Or do we wait a little longer, based on the type of price action that we're getting today? I mean, all of us kind of seem to have the same kind of idea. It is a bit tricky, although it is kind of straightforward when you look at it in hindsight. So hindsight's always easier to kind of look back and be like, oh, yeah, that's great. We should have shorted that instead of taking that long. Like I said, I'm usually not a breakout trader, and that's obviously why I do not time breakouts properly as well as I could be playing these fades. I think that we can get Microsoft a bit lower, but it's also catching a bounce here. If it gets over 418, then our breakout here does probably come into play. I think, like I said, 73 has a bit of size on it, so I'm going to put it right there. What is this? 7350 has a 56 lot. 7350. I'll take a hold. I'll run alongside that. I think we get through that if it pushes. All right, I'm long. See if it goes. See if I can use this break-even button to my advantage. If I see S&Ps turn around, then I will flatten. If not, I'm going to continue to hold this. Microsoft looking to break 418. If it can do that, we should get that 473 level filled. It can definitely reject here. This is where I usually take shorts, but I'm trying a different strategy today for some reason. Nvidia is still strong. Microsoft still trying to hold that 418. S&P is still relatively strong, and there's a rejection. Dancing around a bit. Dancing around. Is it going to melt off from here, or is it going to squeeze up? I'm going to just be hands off because apparently it is going to do the dance. 417.98, 417.97 for Microsoft. Nvidia selling a little bit after breaking that high of the day, but I think we could still push Nvidia up to 126.97. I'm trying to play that order flow size magnet that's up there. The magnet is at 73.50. There's 57 lots sitting, and it hasn't moved. It hasn't been pulled. We do have that upper band of VWAP right there. If you break through this high again, you would expect it to squeeze a bit. You don't have a big pullback in Delta, so the aggressive seller is not quite there at this location. So thinking that the breakout from here pulls us to that magnet order of 73.50. If we can get through this and get up a bit more, then potentially we do get that to tag, right? Microsoft's trying to be strong. Nvidia is still strong. So they're, using the equities, thinking that the strength in the equities should pull us up here to that 73.50 level. Doesn't want to go right now. Get going. Squeeze, dude. If it's going to fail, I don't want to risk more than 250 on it. Nope. S&P is selling a little tiny bit. Running into that rejection point at 5601. Microsoft still looks bullish to me. Nvidia is still pushing straight up. I still think that this is still strong for the bulls. My timing has been off though. So like I said, the short there was great. This time through seems like the long wants to play. If we can get through the high, then I'm going to go to even. The high right there is 65.75. Although this is the type of wedging pattern I like to see for my short opportunities on just a technical basis. Microsoft breaking up. Nvidia still pushing upside. Still strong in the equities. Still not a reason to get out. Still strong, still strong, still strong. Microsoft still getting a bid over 418. Nvidia is running into rejections at 26.50, but I think it has up to 26.97. 127. We break high here. We're going to go to that first level magnet. 75, still sitting there. 73 quarters. The price is right up there if it wants to go. Russell is pulling back. Wick. And is it going to dump or is it going to push? Microsoft ticked up. Nvidia still ticking up. Trying to use these equities as my buddy here. Oh, Microsoft pulled some sellers there. And there it goes. Like I said, I'm risking 250 on it. Nothing crazy. I'm going to let this thing fail and rotate down and then be... See, I'm not a great breakout trader, as you can tell. I'm a perma bear, and I'm still trying to fight my urges, trying to get myself into a better habits of holding some of these ideas a bit. At the same time, not getting great timing lately, right? So there it is. That failed breakdown. It's amazing because last week I was looking at these order flows and we were pulling right to them and pulling through them. This week we're not seeing that. There's the roll. Do we buy the pullbacks instead? My timing has been crap. That's interesting fill there. That seemed like it grabbed that liquidity and now it's selling. That was really interesting. Not huge size on it either. Now you're seeing size getting filled at 56 quarters. We're going to continue to rotate and do that whole dance again. Let's see. There we go. Come on now, break and hold. Overnight highs are the idea. 760 is the ultimate idea. We don't have to get all the way there though. Like, I don't ask for too much. I don't ask for huge moves. I just ask for it to break when I want it to go, when I think the time is right, take off my little piece, and then move on. Being up right here, like thinking through this should kind of want to keep going to the high side just based on the where we're at. But it's not playing along the way I normally would like it to, right? So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm trying to work on some of these breakout strategies that I normally don't play, right? So this is the idea for those breakout strategies, to kind of hold on to them a little longer, allow them to dance around a bit, because like when I play the failed breakouts, they usually happen really quickly. So this should get up over, if this can get from like this candle gets to green, then I'm going to probably want to go to even for myself personally. That I would think that the break of this level here doesn't constitute a fail, a breakout. So there's the push up. When I'm at 1-to-1, I think technically I should be at even. That's just me. Gonna try and get one off at that 73.50. It just doesn't want to get there right now. Come on, squeeze on up. Get off at 73.50 where that large size was. I think if we get to that, it probably squeezes through it. And I'm just going to let this thing kind of play around after I get that one off. So it would be one contract off at 73.50 and then have this stop just past break even, and then let it see if it'll play out to the overnight highs and then start to trail it at that point, right? I'm trying to work on breakout strategies to add to the playbook for September when we have our full funding. I am wholly confident that I will be fully funded five XFAs by September. Yes, today was a little. That is great, huh? Look at that. One tick away from getting filled on that and did not. And if I get stopped at even, I get stopped at even, right? It's just, you have to kind of take that chance. I'm not moving it. I'll allow it to do its thing. This is, wow, very great. I was one tick away. Probably should have front ran that level, huh? Working on these breakout strategies, still not great at them. Still not great at them. $80 lots sitting right at that level, 73.50. Crazy. I think we still get there, but maybe we got to get down through the previous day high. 73.50. It got to 73 even. Lower high. Our normal strategy coming in, a lot of times I'll get ticked in right here, and then it runs and stops me out. So I'll let's see if we can do this. I'll leave that again. Doing it again, giving it a shot. With S&P, NVIDIA, I want them to get up to 126.94, and I want Microsoft to kind of continue to be a bit more bullish. I'm going to go to the bottom of this candle because I just don't want to over risk on this combine at the moment. Once again, trying to work these breakout patterns. I'm not doing a great job with them. Maybe my timing needs to be a bit better. Microsoft's doing a little bit of a sell through that 418. It needs to get back up over 418. I'm stopped on that. I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'm not a very good breakout. My normal strategy is this right here, this failed breakout. If we fail that level and then rotate down, then that's normally my good go-to strategy. However, I think the way this market's acting, we've been wanting to go up, 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 up. S&Ps wants to go up, right? So that's my thought on why I tried to go with that long to try and catch up to that overnight high. But right now, it seems like it wants to rotate through previous day highs, giving that. This is actually acting as support right there. So I'm going to risk to the high of this on this failed breakdown. Once again, just working things through on these combines, trying to get myself back to fully funded for September. NVIDIA pulling back. Microsoft still holding below 418. See how heavy it gets. Maybe I'll add to it as it goes down if it was going to be rotational, but I don't. Maybe I'll just trail it out and try and just take my quick base hits. Get myself through here. Let's see. I don't hate it. Work on ads on the low side. What do I see on the size here? That 73.50 is just not pulling. I'm surprised that we haven't touched it, to be honest. So honestly, if we're not going to break down here, then I'm not going to be in it. But I think if we can rotate down, Microsoft getting heavy, NVIDIA gave you a higher low, I'll go to just past even, cover myself. Because if this ad comes in, then I want to get one off here at 38. No follow through in either direction for me at the moment. There's the pop again. NVIDIA's popping. Yep, there it goes. Once again, just kind of no follow through in either direction. I'm basically just dancing around with these levels. You can get the pop here. I think that at some point this does give up. Same as before. Willing to take these chances on these combines, like I said. These are combines. I think more likely that the breakout does come in. Willing to take the other end of it. NVIDIA is getting really close to that high. So potentially if it hits that high, that 126.97, that's where the sellers will step in. So potentially the timing for the breakdown is closer than I think. So I want to see if this will go catch up to the NVIDIA. Nope, I don't want to be in this. I don't want to do that. I want NVIDIA to wick 126.97. Yeah, just a kind of rough day here on a Monday. Low volume trading day. Grindy type price action to the upside. I do not... I'm not a great breakout trader. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of had this idea of these breakouts. This was the one I wanted to happen when I tried it the first 3 times and stopped myself out on those. Oversized a little bit on these. Probably, like I said, with the combines, I'm a little bit more aggressive. This was the long that I really wanted to take, but it needed to get through that overnight low. We never came to it. The normal strategy is kind of up here at this area where we're at right now. So the short idea there is more likely for me to start thinking about these kind of trades for like a mean reversion back to VWAP. I do think that we do have upside to go, in this type of environment, right? So it's difficult for me to say that I don't want this to happen right now, based on the way We have just been bullish, grinding, low volume. Like this is the kind of day where it does just continue on and continue on and continue on. So that's why I'm attempting these breakouts. And yes, my timing is off on them, and I'd rather do it on combines than when I do have myself back to fully funded. So I can work these things a little bit better when it comes to when I have my XFAs and whatnot, and have another play in the book for making money on a day-to-day basis, right? So if I can get this one to go, then that's where it's going to go. NVIDIA just broke that high, so this shouldn't come back to here. If it does, then we're done, right, for the day. We're done for the day anyway, but working the breakout strategy idea is difficult for me, and I'm going to keep trying it until I can kind of hone in on the timing. I got to be down there at that 52 level. A failure of this should lead to heavier selling because of NVIDIA breaking through the high and then trying to reject it. But if it continues to break the high and go, then the push to the high side makes sense. If we get back over that previous day high one more time, this stop is going just below it here at 162. This is the bottom of this candle. Should not get tagged again. NVIDIA is going straight up. Should be dragging the NASDAQ around with it. I'm going to give myself one more chance if it doesn't go. All right, so I'm tightening my stop up. Because if it does fail this previous day high, then I think the shorts come into play. That's because it's my normal fade, right? Failed breakout fade type idea. And it's going to go now, right? Microsoft and NVIDIA are both doing different things again, right? NVIDIA breaking that high of 127 and Microsoft holding the low. These are the things I'm thinking about for these long ideas, right? Should it go or not? I'll do it again. Fuck it. I'm giving it a shot. Like I said, I'm going to continuing to work this long bias idea, and then I'm only trying it on one contract. 7350 has a large order still sitting there. 68, it has not pulled one time. Delta strong. If it gets to it, it probably pulls through it. That's really why I'm thinking the long side. Like I said, I'm not very adept at my longs. Normally I'm risking 200 per trade. All right, starting to push again. I shook myself out of that one just slightly. The previous loss. We would be more so, at even with this. But now we're going to try a different approach to it. What's going to work best for the breakout strategy? If it runs through 73.50 with those large orders, does it now squeeze through and run? Or is this going to be the top end of the wedge and then we're going to break down? Right? Price action technically is, it's not that bad. It's just slow and choppy and just winding up a lot, taking a lot more time to get through levels. As I said, there's not a lot of reason for it to do much of anything. I thought it was going to be a kind of a rotational type day, and this area is where the rotational should kind of come into play. I have my combines. I'm working them out, trying to get back into the groove of things before September when there's actually good trading to be had. It's going to be difficult to do this, max out that funding on crappy days. So any day that I'm, starting to do things correctly, get some good green momentum, I'm going to try and leverage those days to max my profits so that the next day when I don't see the market as well, kind of like today, even though I saw the price action, kind of had good thoughts on what we were seeing, where we were going to kind of go from the day, that just hasn't been the case for me right now. Frustrating day. That's all it comes down to. Should go with NVIDIA and with Microsoft. They are relatively strong, and it's so frustrating to see that disconnect at the moment. Quite frustrating price action today. Yeah, this would be great to kind of work with micros and trying to figure out, but like I said, here we are pushing up again after wicking myself out again. I even moved my stop a little bit further out. It's not like I took a huge loss on it, but the thought on this is crazy that it's not going quick. I'm taking shots at it. I got 10 minutes left in my trading session, so it's a combine. I'm willing to max draw down it, and if I can get some heavy price action quickly, it should go. If not, I'll probably be maxed out on this one, on this trade here. There we go. That was very whippy. Now it's going to run up to the high side. Manipulation at its best for my trading. Yeah. One of those days, right? One of those days. All right. All done. Call it a day. Max loss, all the combines. Back at it tomorrow. Not so concerned. I just have no feel for the market at the moment. Sideways, chop, bullishness. We try to get we try to get long here. Stopped ourselves out of the other combine. Got long again. Wasn't able to capitalize on that. Broke out. Finally took, everything I thought was going to happened, and I just timed it absolutely garbage for myself. Hopefully I know everybody kind of saw a lot of similar things. It is what it is when it comes down to execution. And personally, I just did not do my best executions today. And it is, back to the drawing board for tomorrow morning. And we'll be, like I said, trying to maximize funding by the end of the month to get into good trading months coming September and beyond. I got to be here streaming. I will be live again tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. on just crappy day. The market analysis kind of drew up exactly what I was thinking about today. Talked about how we were looking at this 19,610 level as the area where we would try and be bullish or bearish from. Everything above 610 has been bullish. And, that was our opening range today. Everything kind of talked about it. 20,000 isn't I don't see that not happening this week. Potentially 20,000 at least. 760 if it breaks 760, 20,000 comes in. There's the break. There's finally the push, that I was looking for. I just personally didn't give it chances. I'm really not the best breakout trader, and that's just me being honest with myself. I tried it today because I thought that was going to be the environment we were in, and I was correct in the thought and incorrect in execution. And it doesn't matter if you're correct in thought. It just matters how you execute, because you're going to lose money otherwise. Gonna be done for the day here. If anybody has any questions or anything, let me know. Overall, like I said, our ideas were pretty good. It's just manipulation around these levels. Like, they just did a good job of playing with our levels and our zones, and being oversized did have a detriment today for my things. I'll see you guys all tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. back to the drawing board, and just kind of really honing in on if I'm gonna have breakout trades, maybe trade them a little smaller just to see if I can get them to play out a little bit better. I do think that the ideas are there. Maybe front running some of the levels at some point during the day would be helpful. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue to grind out these combines, and hopefully, like I said, I want to have 5 by the end of the month and be ready to go max leverage for September when the actual ideal trading conditions are there. I don't recommend you guys trade kind of the way I did today. Realistically, yeah, like I said, if you trade a little smaller, you gave yourself a little bit more risk. You're still getting stopped on these. The thought of taking the short through on S&Ps because it was following up was good. If you have never passed the combine, I wouldn't leverage up. I get a little bit aggressive. I don't mind max drawdowns on combines. You'll never see me do this on a XFA. I limit my losers to 500. I take my size down a bunch for XFAs because I want to keep those long term. The week moving forward now, I got to dig out a drawdown in these, right? These are down. I know I have $1,000 left. So these are the ones that I got to focus in on more, right? 49, 5, 49. So got to do our best tomorrow to start a winning streak, build that up for the rest of the week, and then move forward. I think the overnight levels do get tagged at some point today. I do think 760 isn't a crazy thought for it to grind to by 3 o'clock, right? It's only 11. You could see that grind up. It could also be rotational, and you could see the grind to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised if 610 kind of plays that game all day. But until tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning, I will be back. You can fade me. You can follow me. You can do whatever you want. I'm just here to provide the levels, the thought analysis, and kind of just give you your ideas throughout the day, and hopefully you can make better executions than we did today. I'm glad that everybody else did somewhat okay on other, things, but I'll be back tomorrow better than ever. I'll see you guys then. Peace out. Gotta get to the stream.